Okay, in today's video, we are going to cover some of the ways we can use technology in education. And as you can see here, there's the link that you can use in order to access the presentation, which is bit.ly/March6Technology. Through this link, you can access the whole presentation, and you can have access on all the documents and shared files on this presentation. So first, to introduce myself, my name is Mohammed Shatila. I hold Bachelor of Science in Life and Earth Sciences from the Lebanese University in Lebanon. I have as well Masters of Arts in Education and Leadership from Roehampton University of London. I attended one of the Google for Education Train the Trainer sessions in Spain in November 2018. As well, I have Google Certified Educator Level 1 certification and Google Certified Educator Level 2, and I'm Google Certified Trainer as well. At any time, you can type your questions on the right, and while you filled the survey, I had some of the questions you mentioned that we are going to try to answer during this session. Okay. You can always find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm going to show you first the video I made in order to apply for the Google Certified Trainer. So if you are willing to apply for a Google Certified Trainer, you need at least to create such a video in order to move on with your application. It's part of the application that you need to do to apply for the to become a Google Certified Trainer.
Hi, my name is Mohammed Chantila. I'm Lebanese and living in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. I'm a self-motivated Google educator and a lifelong learner, holding bachelor degree of science in life and earth sciences and a master's degree in educational leadership. I've been working in education for 8 years, spending the last 3 years as advisor, trainer, and student life coordinator. And I want to make education in our world better through promoting creativity, motivation, and My name is Mohammed Shatila, and I want to enhance learning and student capabilities using the aid of technology. And I want to share my knowledge with people from my district and all over the world. Thank you. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a quiz using Google Form and link your answers to a spreadsheet. First, go to Google.
Okay, so this is a video that you can make when you are in the process of applying for Google Certified Trainer. Based on your interest, I found that from the survey you filled, some of you work in the early childhood, some of you in the primary school, others middle years, secondary. So we have variety of answers and of topics to talk about today. So the objectives of this webinar is to know how technology can benefit teaching and learning, why and how technology can support the work you currently do, how can you use technology to prepare for the future, and what tools are available in the G Suite for education, and how to pick the right tool for your objective, and definitely how you can help your students behave responsibly online. It's an interesting and necessary part of our presentation today. I want from you at the beginning to think of how technology has affected your life. Like me, I guess you have probably seen technology changing throughout your whole life. I can remember when we were children, we would play on the streets. Today, we still see children playing on the streets, but their toys are much more advanced than our toys, than the balls we used to have as well. Um, I would definitely say that the rise of technology has made me the person I am today. So, how did it affect my life? Actually, it showed me the possible future that may eventually arrive. Um, Today, through technology, we're living the future, and technology has enabled me personally to move outside of my country and live away from my parents and relatives, yet has allowed me to be in real-time contact with them. And the fact that we are now doing webinars online, technology as well helped me to grow. It has helped me to learn and to continue learning. In fact, through the use of technology, to be more specifically, I can say YouTube and Google, I've learned more than I ever did while at school, at least more applicable to real life situation knowledge. And that's what we need to teach our children. We need to teach them how to use the education in their real lives. You can think definitely about how technology has affected your life, and from your answers you can think how you are going to use technology in the future. Okay, now I'm going to show you a small video about the benefits of the digital classroom, and you can if you already copied the link that I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, which is here, you can follow up with the video. You can follow up with the Arabic subtitles or English subtitles as well, and they are after the video.
We get to put professional tools in the hands of our students. More and more professions use computers and technology. To prepare students for a connected, technology-rich world, our schools should do their best to give them practice in that environment.
The opportunities for collaborating with peers or even experts are endless. Students in my school host a live weekly tech help show called the Tech Sherpas that connect them with resources and experts outside with other student groups around the world. We share our expertise and we learn from those students that are doing really innovative projects. I mean, when I started teaching, these opportunities didn't even exist. Access to the internet opens up a whole world of information to my students. And when we don't have that unanswered question in my class anymore, when a student asks a question I'm not sure the answer to, they'll just dive right in to go find it on their own. Just being connected to the internet allows my kids to go pursue their passions like they never have been able to before.
Being connected to the internet isn't just about having access to information, it's about having access to people. One of my students wanted to hear from the author of his favorite book. With just a little searching, we found the author's contact information and we connected with her. Our students were really excited to hear from her, and she was excited to talk with us about her writing process. That's the type of direct access to real world experts that just wasn't possible before we got computers.
I would encourage teachers to take risks and not worry about getting it right the first time. There are lots of learning opportunities that can come from failure. You are modeling for students what it means to be a learner and how adult learners can problem solve and learn from mistakes. Kids need to see that.
I think we have to get comfortable with not knowing everything that there is to know about the technology. We as teachers are professional facilitators of learning. We aren't necessarily tech whizzes. If your pedagogy is solid and you know the learning targets and how to get your students there, then you can let the students help sort out the tech. They'll actually really enjoy the problem solving.
Okay, now we've watched this video. You can always read the captions of the video in the other slides, in the next slides. So the role of rote learning has decreased as students have instant access to the world's knowledge. When you provide your students in the class different technological tools, the routine of your class will definitely change. You will add more fun to your classes. You can definitely add more resources that your students and you as teachers can definitely benefit from. Technology is definitely a tool to support you as a teacher or educator in your efforts to increase student learning. Remember that as teachers, you are facilitators of learning, and not only you are lecturing or giving the subject. You are teaching math, teaching subtraction, addition, or you're teaching your students about digestive system if you are a science teacher, or other lessons. So you are the facilitator of learning. You want them to know how things work, how they need to use their learning in their own life. A digital classroom is a place where you are facilitators of learning, a place where students use technology to collaborate and communicate in authentic ways, a place where students have access to online resources that they can use to solve problems. And you can always tell your students that YouTube is definitely one of the amazing places where they can search for whatever they want. Even if they want to make simple things, you can write on YouTube how to make whatever they want to do. Um, okay, and based on your interests as well, I found that about 55% of you are willing to go for Google certified trainer, and 44.4% are willing to know more about the Google level 1 certification. So I'm going to talk basically about each one specifically. Your path of Google professional development can start with level 1 certification. Um, there are not so many certifications have that people used to have all over the world from 81 countries. Till now, they are very little. So level 1 certification, then level 2, which is more advanced, then certified trainer, and definitely you can become a certified innovator if you are willing to attend one of the 3-day academy that take place for that take time for about a year to accomplish and to become a certified innovator. Here is the link to the curriculum, and definitely, as I told you, if you save the link of the presentation, you can always access the link of the curriculum, and I'm going to show you the curriculum from here. So the Google Certified Educator Level 1 program found in the Training Center, it has fundamentals training course. It's made out of 13 units organized into 3 themes: the professional growth and leadership, efficiency and saving time, facilitating and inspiring student learning and creativity. And the exam of the level 1 certification is not that hard, and it's an open internet quiz or exam, which is basically made out of 2 sessions. One of the sessions is a multiple choice question or matching or fill in the blanks, and the other session is application, where they will ask you to create, for example, Google site, and they will ask you to invite people to your work, and maybe they will ask you to create a classroom, and then they will ask you to invite students to your classroom to make a quiz, to grade the quiz. All of these applications that they will ask you. So it's basically 50% application and 50% asking general questions about what you have learned from the lessons you studied. So the level 1 fundamentals training, it's made out of 13 units. Each unit has different number of lessons, and they will tell you here how much time you need to study each unit. You probably need about 720 minutes in order to finish the fundamentals training, and then you can apply for the quiz. For the level 2, it's more advanced. They will give you more tips about Google tools, and it's made out of 9 units. organized into three themes: engaging professional growth and leadership, increasing efficiency and saving time, facilitating and inspiring student learning and creativity. Each unit as well has multiple sections to work through with practice activities and end of unit review questions. Now I'm going to show you um, the advanced training here. You need about 613 minutes to finish the 31 lessons. Let me show you, for example, if you want to click here, you can always go to the session or to the lesson you want to study. They will give you the introduction and different information. For example, the expected time to finish this lesson is about 17 minutes. You can go through the sections below and test yourself. There are some videos, some resources, and some places where you can write down your notes. There's a lesson check definitely at the end of each lesson. And at the end of each unit, there's the unit review where you can test your knowledge and you can solve the questions they have, because some of the questions from the quizzes might be very similar to what you might see here. And you can definitely redo the test whenever you got less than 100%. Okay. If you like to ask more questions about the curriculum, feel free to ask me now. Okay, and now to become a Google certified trainer, you need to finish the level 1 training, and then the level 2, the level 1 certification and the level 2 certification, and then you are ready to apply for the certified trainer. You need to do a trainings session, you need to record data, you need to make pre-surveys to get information about your attendees of your trainings, so you can modify your training based on their needs, based on the needs of your attendees. So as I did earlier, and you submitted your answers on the survey, so I can modify my agenda of the training based on your needs. So, introducing your Google for Education tools. You're probably already familiar with Google Search, but did you know that Google offers many other tools that are useful in the classroom? And such as, okay, G Suite for Education is a suite of tools that can help you increase opportunities for critical thinking of your students, for communication, collaboration, and creativity, all while supporting the learning objectives that you have for yourself or for your students. These tools are totally free, they are ad-free, reliable, and definitely secure. They are already used by millions of students in schools around the world. Of course, free is great, but the best thing is that these tools are relevant to students, easy to use, and open doors to many new ways to learn. G Suite for Education, you can find Google Classroom. In Google Drive, you can find the Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Forms, Google Slides, Drawings, Gmail, Google Calendar, and Google Hangouts, and Google Sites. I'm going to show you a video about one of the universities that they started using the G Suite for Education, and how they explain or they talk about how simple using G Suite for Education, and how amazing it is for everyone in the university.
The University of St Andrews chose Google Apps because our students gave us a clear message that that was what they wanted. Even though we're an old institution, we're just about to celebrate our 600th anniversary, we want to be cutting edge and move with the times, and Google Apps gave us that opportunity. The technology we had for managing student email was simply not good enough. They didn't have enough storage space, they couldn't access their email off campus easily, they couldn't send attachments easily. Google Apps and Google Docs gave us everything we needed in one web-based application.
transition was made extremely easily. It took us about 6 weeks to do, and by the end of a 2-month period, all students had moved over to Google Apps.
It was really easy to learn the Google Apps. We didn't really need any seminars. They just sort of gave us an email, and then we created a password, and that was pretty simple.
The really cool thing about it is that there's a sort of suite of applications, and you can turn things on and off depending on whether they fit your institution. For example, when we first went live, we only used Docs and email. Sites and chats we weren't quite sure about. We've now run through a process of looking at our institutional policies, looking at student need, and we've now turned those on, and we're very happy with that. So it was good to have that control.
There was quite a lot of students coming to me a wee bit panicky at the start, thinking they weren't too sure how to set up their own websites, they weren't technical, and I myself am not technical, and I've managed to work it okay. So it's been a very easy, smooth process.
Simple things like we need to start typing in another student's name, for example, into the send to bar, and it just comes up with their email address, whether or not they're a contact. It saves you so much time when you're sending off like 20 odd emails a day. With Docs, the ability to sort of bunt something around all of our executive group or wider audience just to show them something very quickly is incredibly useful.
I can literally just send out information via either a questionnaire or whatever it may be. All of the responses come back to me straight in an email and in a document format, rather than sending out an email to every single individual club, which was a nightmare last year.
With specific regard to how Google Apps has helped us improve our running of our sports community, it's the immediate nature of the information that we can provide. We have a lot of different sports, we do a lot of different things. To group them off and split them off means that we're not bombarding everybody with the same email, so it takes them out of the habit of saying, yeah, we've got 300 emails, 5 of which apply to us. We'll ignore those 5 because we're fed up with getting all of them, so that's where the group's really coming.
We struggle the most trying to find a good time for the committee to meet, and so we're trying to get everyone to upload their calendars onto Google Calendar so that we can find that hour that fits everyone's needs.
For me, using Google Apps in the workplace in the future, certainly very easy to imagine. It's something that's here to stay and something that certainly has a future.
So we can clearly see how amazing is G Suite for Education when it comes to schools or universities. Okay, selecting the right tools now. Now, there are many tools in G Suite for Education, and depending on your needs, you need to choose the right tool. It may seem hard to know where to start. There are many tools in Google that you can use. That's the purpose of this training, to let you know what is available so you can consider how you might use each tool in your class and how they can enrich the experience of your students. And this is just the introduction. And remember that as a teacher, educator, you need to know that you are working together with your students. You're not the director of the classroom, you are the facilitator of learning. Technology has opened new opportunities for student collaboration, both inside and outside of the classroom. And one of the most powerful features of Google Docs is the ability to share and collaborate. Google Docs. So I'm going to show you how you can use Google Docs now in order to share and collaborate with your students. You can simply create a new Google document from your drive, and this Google Doc can become a multimedia task sheet. What do I mean by a multimedia task sheet? You can simply make a table. Okay, you can simply make a table and add many different parts. For example, you can here write the name of your student. Here, for example, question 1, question 2, or opinion. Okay, now each student can access this folder and can definitely edit this folder. For example, when you press on the share, okay, you need to name the document before sharing, multimedia task sheet. Now you can get a shareable link with your students, or you can add their email addresses, and you can always allow anyone with this link to view, edit, or comment. Definitely, if you are going to share it with your students, you can do the edit thing and then copy the link and then share it with your students. Now, when your students access um, the sheet, they can simply find empty places to write their names. So they can write, for example, my name. I would answer the question and I would give my opinion. And another student would do the same. He or she can read what his friends or her friends answered before, and based on what they answered, they can, or you can change your answers or whatever. So it's a very amazing and interesting way to use only docs in order to create a multimedia task sheet. So students can read their names, they can read their answers definitely. Anytime they can access the file. And definitely at any time you can stop sharing this doc with your students, and then you can keep the answers for yourself. So here is Google Docs, how it can be amazing tool to share and collaborate with your students. Okay. Facilitating meaningful group work as well. But just assigning work to a group of students does not make it successful. So, if you are going to make your lesson successful, you need to include ways to enhance group work with the online tools, and then you need to think through the options you have. You need to plan for collaborative group work, and then to put your learning goals. Definitely, if you don't tell your students why they are doing this and why they are going to use what they are using now, um, it would be difficult for them to understand or to pay attention or even to become motivated to move on with you in your lesson. You need to engage your students in meaningful ways. One of the amazing tools I'd like to talk about as a science teacher is the Google Expedition. Google Expedition is an interesting tool where your students can access and see their lessons in a 3D in 3D view. You can get glasses, 3D glasses from any store. You can, for example, there's a Homido company that sells the 3D glasses for mobiles. You can simply put it on your mobile, and you can simply, for example, see the lungs from the inside. You can see the veins. You can move left, right, and it's a two-way application where you as a teacher has the application on your tablet or mobile, and the students as well have it on their devices. And you as a teacher can tell your students, for example, move right to look at the right lung, and then the students would move right, and then you can see the students that are looking, the number of students that are looking where you wanted them to look at. And you can always move and explain to them while they're looking at the point you want them to look at, and then you tell them, for example, information about the lung, the vein, or whatever, or the bones, definitely. Okay, so in order to start using technology in your classrooms, if you don't yet, you need to try the SAMR model for technology integration. If you don't have technology in your classroom, so you definitely need to substitute the way or the method or the tool that you are using in order to explain for your students with the new tool that you want to use. For example, if you're still using papers to write homeworks, you can simply substitute the papers with Google Docs, where students can submit their homeworks using Google Docs and share the link with you. Now, in this way, you are reducing the use of paper and make things more accessible for you as a teacher and more safe, in a place safe. If you want to check them You don't have to if you want to check them while drinking coffee and you spill the coffee on the paper, now you ruin the students' work. Now on the computer, it's more easy to do that. So the substitution teach acts as a direct tool substitute with no functional change. So here we are in the stage of enhancement. So if you have no technology in classroom, for example, if you're still using the board, the whiteboards, and you think that your schools or your educational company or organization has enough budget to get smart boards, you can substitute the whiteboard with the smart boards, and using the smart boards you can definitely allow the students to watch videos and allow your students to enjoy lessons more, to see things rather than only just listen to our lecturing. After substitution, you need to increase and to raise the awareness of students using of students or teachers or whoever is using the new tool that you substituted, which is the stage where we called augmentation, where you need to start uh, seeing the influence of this tool on your lessons. So here is the stage of enhancement. And during the augmentation, you can also watch the watch how things are going on. Is it good for them? Is it beneficial? Is it useful? Or you need to do something else? So after the augmentation stage, you need to go for the modification in case you saw something that is weird, something that is unaccepted, something that need to be changed, for example. Here where you can start doing your transformation. So and finally, you need to redefine things in order to make things fix with your classroom and fix with your needs. So here's the SAMR model for technology integration, and you need for first to substitute, then you need to go with the stage of augmentation, and then the modification, and finally the redefinition. Okay. Now, one of the most important parts about using technology in classrooms. Now, many schools are using tablets for their students to as a tool instead of the books, so they can no more carry bags and no more heavy weights on their bags. It's very important to teach our students about respecting and protecting the internet citizenship. So they are citizens in the internet world, in the digital world, and they need to behave well. And they need to you need to teach them about the copyrights, about online safety, about communication online, not to use the social media, for example, to bully people online, or not to use the classroom to send messages to their friends that are inappropriate. So all of these things must be a part of the change, part of the augmentation process we talked about. Okay. So we need to address the digital citizenship carefully and thoroughly. At the school level, policies and procedures and a defined digital citizenship curriculum can help guide you in the classroom. You can check for curriculums about digital citizenship online, or you can simply create your own. Ask your IT department in the school to create their own digital citizenship, so you can teach it for the students if you are willing to integrate to use technology in your classroom. These help make students aware of what they should and shouldn't be doing, with the goal of keeping themselves safe online. And you need to tell your students not to click or not to click on links from different or weird resources or unknown resources before when they are using the internet. So, however, it's not always possible for us to fully protect the students. What happens when they do get into trouble? So, what happens if you got a student that got into trouble already? So we need to teach students as well to cope with these times. Is something that every teacher can do in their classroom. You can foster open and honest conversations to help build resilience and teach strategies for getting help and support. So there are many school-wide policies, digital citizenship curriculum, as I mentioned before, and classroom conversations that you can do in order to generate support for your goals of building your students into better digital citizenship, which is very important. And one of the first agreements that needs to be made is that preparing students to be literate digital citizens is everyone's responsibility. Teachers, administrators, parents, and students all play a role. So definitely you need to think beyond the textbook. We need textbooks and we will still use them. A lot of classroom have and will continue to have textbooks. They are important part of the classroom and aren't disappearing anytime soon, but that does not mean you can't augment them to further engage students and make connections to the real world. So, in this lesson, we look at how technology can support and enhance current curriculum. We'll also consider how to use Google tools to extend, expand, and supplement the great things you are already doing in your classroom. So, I'm going to show you as well this short video in order to extend your textbook resources.
A few years ago, we adopted a great textbook for my AP Gov class. The book has served us well, and we have some great lessons that use it as a resource. But now there's all this great content available online, and I'm feeling a bit limited by the book, and I wanted to change things up for my lessons. So, two questions I asked. One, how can I make the topics more engaging? And two, how can we relate government to the lives of our students? I really wanted to make my classes more timely, and there's so much going on in the world that I can easily bring into class. Having kids make the connections between the concepts and what's going on in their world is really powerful. We study civil liberties and civil rights, but the textbook doesn't cover the more recent political unrest that the kids are hearing about in the news. Using Google search, I found some resources, and more importantly, my students found resources on the political uprisings that include videos, tweets, citizens' reports. My students are making connections that just simply weren't possible before. YouTube has a lot of channels with creators making educational content, places like MIT, Stanford, and Khan Academy. Crash Course is my new favorite YouTube channel. My students love it too. It's a little bit subversive, it has animation, it's a lot of fun. They have a couple videos on presidential powers, and that's a topic always on the AP exam. It had a lot of the same content as our textbook, but presented it in a more engaging and visual way. So next, I'm going to flip these videos outside of the classroom and create some Google Forms to see if my students really understood the material. Using Google's resources allows me to spend more time one-on-one with my students and really make sure they're learning.
Okay. So, and here below is the captions where you can also read the Arabic translation for this video. Okay, now you've seen some ways Google tools can add to what your student can do with the textbook, and you explored the concept of moving beyond the textbook. Consider some specific changes that would enhance or extend what your current resources can do. I'm going to show you a website or an application that you can use as a tool as well in order to help your students, for example, study using photos, which is using ThingLink. ThingLink.com is an amazing website as well, where you can build unique experiences with interactive images, videos, and 360 videos. Okay, here's the thing link where you can. I created before a, a photo about animal and plant cell, where whenever you drag, you can find information about the items you're moving on. So here, for example, I'm moving over the mitochondrion. I'm moving up over the rough endoplasmic reticulum, or I'm moving above the Golgi body, and you can definitely share your photo with your students, and they can access the photos you created. ThinkLink is one of the applications that I really like, and you can use sample images, or you can use sample 360 images. But you need, if you are on a device, on a mobile, you need definitely the Google Cardboards or any 3D glasses that might work on your device. Definitely. If you have the premium membership, you can access the 360 or the virtual reality videos. Other than that, you need to stick to the single photo, to the 2D photos. Okay. So one of the from the survey we did before the presentation, I had some of you talking about the challenges they meet, they face in the 21st century learning. And one of the challenges I liked is the motivation and low budgets. Yes, definitely. Some of the schools, maybe they have low budgets to use technology, specifically in some of the public schools, and that's definitely an issue. But I think you can use technology in classroom only. No need to ask students to get tablets for reading books or textbooks. They can simply use their mobiles in order to access some of the resources that you might share with them. You can share YouTube videos with your students. You can share photos like ThinkLink photos where they can study lessons through their mobiles. But definitely, yes, you might not teach using tablets or devices uh, in schools. And one of the also challenges is how to integrate technology, especially the mobile, without students using it for something else. Definitely, it's a huge issue that we face all the time in our school as well, where students play games sometimes in some of the classes. There are some applications that you can download on all the tablets where you can lock this tablet whenever the student try to leave the lesson. Um, but some of the students now are smart enough to unlock the software you downloaded. Um, there are many technologies. Yes, one of the challenges was being able to handle new technologies. Definitely, to handle new technologies, you need to use the SAMR model. You need to start by substituting this technology, this tool, and then try the augmentation process, and then to do the modifications, or to do whatever you want to do, and then to the redefinition stage. So definitely, in order to use technology in the classroom, we need to be very careful, and we need to teach the students before using these tools about the importance of being a good citizens in the digital world. The number one thing you'd love to enhance about your training practice this year, some of you mentioned the video training, some of you mentioned the technical knowledge of educational systems in the world, some of you to master the whole Google suite of applications. Google suite of applications is amazing. I mastered all the tools in 3 months only, and I finished my application, my Google Trainer application, in only 3 months. It took me only 3 months to finish everything. and to do the exams and to pass everything, to record my video, to do some trainings, and here I am. STEM teaching through technology, definitely. It's a bit critical issue that we need another session to talk about STEM teaching through technology, and hopefully I'll put it as one of of things to look at and to prepare something interesting for this topic. More trainings for educators needed. Definitely, that's a huge issue that we need to take care of. We need to find ways in order to train. I'm going to show you here the answers, the responses. When I created the survey, Google yes, from the form, Google Forms, I can find analysis for your data. As you can see here, I can see in which division you most. It's already it's time saver, so um, it can show also what you are interested about and how comfortable you are with training others to use technology. Some of you think that they're so good, some of you think that they are not that good. Are you interested in? Yes. So when you answer the survey, I can easily get the analysis for the data as well. And here are your challenges, and here are the number one thing you'd love to enhance about your training, and what questions do you have. No one had some questions to ask. If you have any question to ask, you can feel free to ask. Okay, I can't see any questions. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so clearly there are no questions here for today. So at the end of the presentation, I would appreciate um, if you go to the last slide and try to fill the survey. I'm going to copy the link on the chat box.
If you go to the last slide and try to fill the survey, I'm going to copy the link on the chat box. If you go to the last slide and try to
So I would appreciate if you use this link in order to share your feedback with me. Um, okay, so kindly have a minute to share your feedback by clicking on the following link. I already um, put down the link in the chatting part, and I can see clearly that I have no questions, so I can answer. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this session, and I hope to see you next time.